Francoeur, how you doing this morning, buddy?
It is a fantastic day. I started my day this morning with a little yoga, I'll have you know.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm a big fan of yoga. So, I'm going to spare people the details, but
Okay.
it was good. What are we talking about here today?
Well, I think missing millions. We're going to talk about Acre, what we got going on, some observations we've had. Recently we've had the opportunity to.
We have got to we got to address this thing about people buying on price. We got to talk about this.
Okay, let's do it, because here's what we've learned. I mean, we just came off of a couple of weeks. We did an Acre Toronto, then we did RAIN member meetings, then we did a CIR event. We spoke to 300 realtors, and then you did a couple of meetups. So we've been having conversations with real estate investors, literally like hundreds of them. And one of the things that popped up for both of us is the fact that as we're talking to these individuals, as we meet them at these meetings, we're asking what they're investing in, what they're doing, and why they're investing in this area or that area or this particular property. And a funny answer is really good price.
Yeah, it's a really good, I got it for a good price. The property values here are low enough that I could buy lots of them. So, or more of them. And you know what, this is interesting, Patrick, because as we dive into this conversation, this is what this segment is called Missing Millions. And on this segment, we always talk about, by the way, missing millions, Patrick, I've noticed, I've been looking at the data. Most of our segments are in the 15 to 20 minute range, but either we're not that funny, which we know we're not, but it's interesting that
we're interesting. Maybe we're not that interesting.
A lot of people after 10 minutes, some people under 10 minutes, they prefer under 10-minute videos, and they're looking for that instant gratification. We've talked about this before. So these videos, folks, they sometimes go for 12, 15, 20 minutes, but I tell you, the gold is often at the end when Patrick warms up. He's like an old diesel. So when you warm them up,
not just an old diesel, it's a turbo diesel. Keep that in mind. But you're so right. It's like, okay, you haven't told me how to make a million or save a million in the past 10 minutes. I'm out. Yeah. So anyways, let's get to work to appease people's need for instant gratification. Let's talk about some of the fundamentals of investing in real estate to get to that level of being a sophisticated investor.
So one of the big issues, Patrick, that you and I have been seeing all along is this concept of buying on price. People look at a market and they say, okay, well, I have this amount of capital, therefore I'm going to go buy, a $300,000 duplex or a bungalow, or I'm going to buy in a small town, that's only got 12,000 people because the property values are cheap. That's called buying price. And that is a real difficult strategy, because it could work once, it could work twice, it may work 3 times, but sooner or later you could very well get burnt like that, Patrick. And in fact, I know you've seen people go through this experience in small town Alberta, small town Saskatchewan, small town BC. What's been your experience with this?
Well, I've made that mistake. I've actually had that experience. And small town, nothing. I mean, we were in an oil and gas town with 50,000 plus people in it. And when in Alberta, so in Grand Prairie, so when the oil and gas market kind of fell out, guess what? So did Grand Prairie. So did Peace River. So did everything in that area. And so yeah, it was a tough slog for myself and my joint venture partners. And so, the reality of any situation is, and what RAIN, one of the many, I guess, foundational components of investing in real estate that we talk about often is why 28 years we've been doing research and we've been doing analysis and looking at what's going on economically, and really that, and especially over the past 2 or 3 years with all the confusion out there. I mean, we've taken our research right to the next level. I mean, to literally a world-class level where we have banks looking at our research, we have universities using our research, and of course, in our community, people understand economic fundamentals. But that's not the case. Not everybody's part of the RAIN community. And so they're still buying price. They're still believing that, oh, I can go to this small town or I can go to this other place and buy a really great deal. And they don't look at the long term. Well, where's that town area going to be in 10 years, in 15 years, in 5 years? Why are you buying there beyond price? Well, I can cash flow $300 a month. Got it. Perfect. Now, even if you hang on to it long enough to buy the mortgage down, is there an exit strategy in there somewhere? Are you going to be
are you even going to be able to exit?
Are you even going to be able to exit?
And that's a conversation, Patrick, that we don't have enough in our community, outside of the communities, will you even be able to exit? People have this feeling like you're always going to be able to sell your property. That is somewhat true, but not at the price you necessarily want.
100%.
And at that, if you spend 20 years, paying down a mortgage, and yes, the tenants are paying down the mortgage, but you've invested time, you've invested money, you've invested effort into this property. It's a business, and now you want to exit that business called a piece of real estate. And if you can't get, 400 or 500 or whatever price you need to make this a real win for you, you may have just wasted all that time. And you got to consider, folks, what could you have done with that capital somewhere else? What could you have done with that capital if you had invested in a better property in a better location? So there's really a formula, Patrick, which we teach at Acre. We're going to teach at the Acre Real Estate Investor Summit in Calgary. But there's a formula to making wise, smart, good real estate investment decisions that are going to, A, make you a sophisticated and successful real estate investor, and B, be able to yield the lifestyle, the results, the happiness, the generational wealth you're looking to build. Because without that, you can be it can be very difficult.
Well, and that's exactly, but you hit on a couple points. So at Acre, we're going to talk about the time, money, knowledge matrix. I've got time, I've got money, I've got knowledge, or I only have time, but I don't have money, or I have money, but I don't have knowledge or time. I mean, there's a whole matrix that we talk about. But to your point there, what you said earlier was around when you invest in price only, yes, you want to get a return on your investment of money, but how do you get a return on your investment of time? Because like you said, you're putting time into it, and you're whether it's working with your property manager or you're managing it yourself, how are you getting paid, and how are you going to get a return on investment, like truly a return on investment? And Seth Godin, who I'm a big fan of, he said something I read recently, one of his blogs. I love his blogs because they're so short. But he said, if we wasted money like we waste time, we'd all be bankrupt. And so when we look at how we spend our time in the world of real estate as one example, people watching this video, I want to make sure that it's the best use of their time, that they can actually get something out of it. That's one of my driving intentions of doing this Facebook Live. So the point of that is that at Acre, we look in and we dig into all of those things to bring people's awareness to time, money, knowledge, why the economic fundamentals matter. We actually do presentations on research. We're actually going to show you what's going on in Alberta, top 10 towns of Alberta, what's happening in Calgary. Our sponsors, we've got some amazing sponsors that are going to be out there, Calgary experts. Redline, Brett Turner comes to mind, Redline Brett, as we call him. And I mean, he's been in that industry or in that marketplace forever. He's totally expert on that. Guys like that are there to share. Barry McGuire is a lawyer. Like, it's a pretty cool event for getting what you need. It's a great use of your time.
Yeah, so folks, if you're taking notes, which would be great, and I mean, imagine, Patrick, if people took notes on our Facebook Lives, that would be amazing. But if you're taking notes, there's three major categories you got to look at. So before you just go buy, before you just get out there and start buying, and I'm giving you the macro right now because I want you to come to Acre Calgary, and I want you to get the micro. But the macro is, number one, you got to look at your goals. What are your goals? What are you looking to achieve? How long do you have? Someone who's got a 5-year time horizon or a 10-year time horizon is should be doing things very differently than someone who's got like you and I, Patrick, we have different time horizons with our investments. We should be doing very different things as we are, but people don't often think about that. They don't start with their goals in mind. They start with, where can I buy something for $226,000?
Yeah.
So first consideration is your goals. Second consideration is the economics. What is the market? Where is the cycle of that market? So the top 10 towns of Alberta at Acre in Calgary at the Real Estate Investor Summit, we're going to tell you exactly where they are in their cycle, which of them are in recovery, which of them are in boom, which of them are in a slump. And then you're going to base your investment decision and investment tactics based on your goals, based on the market cycle. And then last is what Patrick talked about, which is your time, money, knowledge matrix, time, money, knowledge, focus matrix. Because the cool thing, Patrick, and there's people listening to this now that are thinking, I don't think I have enough money to get going. I don't think I have enough time to get going. I don't have enough knowledge. The fact is within the time, money, knowledge, focus matrix, Patrick, it doesn't matter how the matrix looks. There are strategies and tactics available to these people, right?
Exactly. The first step you have to take is to where to place yourself in that matrix. So then you can decide what is the strategy you got to put in place, what are the actions that you got to take. And so we're there to support that. That's what the event about. And back to goal setting, Stephanie Hanlon, Olympic coach, she works with Olympic athletes in her world. And in our world, knowing now Stephanie's been on our stage many, many times now, the reality of it is whether you're an athlete that's looking to get on the gold, the podium, silver, bronze, gold, what's your podium? And set that podium, set those goals up. And then she's going to be there to support you and talking about circle of support. How do you build your team? What does that team look like? It's a pretty, it's a proven to be a very, very impactful segment of Acre.
Yeah, very, very, very impactful, I think, is the perfect word for it, Patrick, because if people come out of Acre with real breakthroughs, they come out with real tangible goals, real tangible solutions, real tangible tactics, and things that they're implementing. Like, people are taking action within the room throughout the weekend. There's deals to be done in the room. There's connections in the room. There's amazing sponsors. There's amazing strategic partners. I mean, it's the one-stop shop for real estate investors. It only happens once a year in Calgary, and it's March 6th, 7th, and 8th. And it's going to be a community of 300, 400, 500 like-minded individuals. You just can't beat that.
That is the secret sauce of REIN, right? Is a community of like-minded individuals, with a culture that talks and really steps into being collaborative and caring. And that really is setting up the environment that you want to place yourself in for your success. And through all that, and behind all that, of course, is the education and stuff. Now, interesting is, I want to share with you, and if there's any REIN members that have watched to this point, what's interesting is that when we did Toronto Acre just a couple of weeks ago, there was a whole cohort of Albertans went to Ontario. They stretched, they got out of their own backyard, and they went, holy cow, was that a good move? So I'm inviting members. Now, I've already got a couple of PMs from Ontario members that are saying, hey, Patrick, I'm coming to Calgary. Can you make sure that you introduce me to some people I need to meet? And I'm saying, absolutely. And so stretch yourself, get out of your comfort zone, REIN members. If you're in Ontario or if you're in BC, get to Calgary, get to Alberta, get another perspective, talk to real estate investors outside your backyard.
Yeah, so folks, quick little summary on this. Number one, stop buying on price. Price is a part of the formula. It is not the formula. There's a much bigger formula, and you got to come to Acre Real Estate Investor Summit in Calgary to get that formula. And you're going to get an amazing environment, an amazing culture of care and collaboration, and they're really going to put you up, make you, put you in a place to succeed and be a successful real estate investor. And this is a big stretch for a lot of people, Patrick. And it's going to be an amazing weekend. Toronto just 3 weeks ago was out of this world, and the feedback has been off the chart. So, Patrick, I'm going to see you at Acre Real Estate Investor Summit in Calgary. Actually, we have a REIN member meeting this Tuesday, so I'll see you then. But yes, then after that, it's Calgary. So I'll see you then, pal.
See you, Toronto. I'll be there.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks.